Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're doing very, very well. Now, this is going to be a quick video. I promise it's a quick video because I've got another video to do shortly afterwards. Well, I hope so anyway. But I'm in that kind of mood to just like get gabby, talk to you guys. Now, what it is, it's Chinese New Year has just happened and we're having a huge Chinese feast tonight. We've bought bits and bobs in, which we're going to do ourselves, but we're also going to get the big boys in, the proper Chinese chippy. So we're going to get a load of stuff from the chippy as well. So it's going to be a huge Chinese banquet. Happy days, happy days. I'm not sure where whiskey comes into all this, like, because I know Japan makes some fantastic whiskies. China, I don't know. Does China do any whiskey? Maybe they do. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. If they do, brilliant, bravo. But in the meantime, I've got some proper scotch here as well. Yeah. Now, it's been a busy few days. Not only have I been doing a lot of videos and a lot of stuff, and the radio show, he says, plugging the radio show yet again. But we've had some issues with Big Kilt Mama. My mum ain't doing so great at the moment. She's at the ripe old age of 87, 88. So it's in that neck of the woods. It's so many years. I can't quite work it all out right now. But although she's working, she's moving about, she's fine fettle physically. Up here ain't so hot, so it's a very difficult situation to deal with, and it does take its toll. Anyway, so enough about that. But so I've been very, very busy. But I have got reviews to come, and I have got a box to open later on today. I'm going to do it tonight after the banquet. So long as I'm still, feeling capable enough of doing it. I haven't imbibed too much of this stuff. Which after yesterday, folks, Scotland beat England in the Rugby Six Nations. Oh yes. 2017, I think the final score was at Murrayfield. Scotland did it. Oh my God, fantastic. I was out in the pubs and the clubs, bedecked in the war paint, blue and white, and I've still got loads of it left. It's all on the hairline, it's all down the side here. I look like I've got a big tide mark around my neck because it just won't come off, like. And I've got a very blue finger as well, because that was the finger I was doing it all with. It will last quite some time. But loved it. It was fantastic. And Scotland retained the Calcutta Cup. Yes! So awesome stuff. So that was a great day. Now I did a couple of videos yesterday, and then I went out and watched the match and got exceptionally drunk. And I think there must be like a bit of a record for the amount of litres of whiskey that I threw down my neck. Because Christ almighty, I was rolling about later on. Really, really was. But in a good way. It was in a good way, folks. So, bravo, he says, taking another swig of whiskey. So, now I was out before with the dog. Roxy, the husky, the wonder dog, the dead ringer for The Thing, the dog at the start of The Thing, whose real name is Jed. So she's actually a Jed ringer because she looks the spitting image of that dog, only far more gorgeous and a lot less hostile. And not as many tentacles that come out of it. But anyway, I took her out, and she likes to go to the pub as well. So I wonder where she got that trait from. So we did a couple of circuits of the cemetery. She met her mates, was playing around with her mates, and the wind was blowing a hoolie, an absolute hoolie. So it was great, and of course being a husky, she just loves it. She could sit out in a strong, cold wind all day long. She's not sure why. She's never been to Siberia, and yet she is a pure Siberian husky. She's never been to any sort of snowy climate, cold, sub-zero temperatures. Doesn't know it at all, but just knows instinctively that he likes this, or he does. Or he likes a bit of the old cold wind in me fur. And because she speaks like that as well. And she had a great time. So, but then I managed to drag her back. Let's go to the pub. You know you want to go to the pub. So we went to the Cask first of all. Wonderful. I did not drink whiskey. I drank a pint. and it was a pint of real ale, and I've now forgotten what it was, what the this particular brew was, but it was like 4.8%, and because the dog gets a bit restless, she allows you to go in there and to buy you a drink, and then she gets food. There's a big jar of dog treats in the cask, which is just down the road here. that's helpful for you guys, isn't it? Oh, just down the road, Kilt-Man. Yeah, just down there. Yeah, it is. I could spit to it from here. And they have dog treats in a big glass jar, high up behind the bar. Now, normally Roxy goes in there and they go, "Hello, Roxy," and they all love and adore her. Everyone is in the pub comes out to say hello to her. It's what a life being a dog. Well, being my dog especially. And then whoever's behind the bar, "Oh, does she want some treats? Does she want some treats?" And they reach up and they get the jar down and they give her a load of treats and then if she's a good girl, she gets a few more treats and a little bowl of water. Wonderful stuff. But it was Sheila behind the bar, and Sheila, God bless her, little person who perhaps should have retired several decades ago, but she's still working there, only on a Sunday afternoon when it's meant to be quiet. Today there was an early kick-off of a Liverpool game, Liverpool v Cardiff. Ashradine, my good friend, you're from Cardiff, your boys lost. But they put up a good fight. They were a bit naughty, some of the antics they were getting up to. But anyway, that's another story. So the pub had been busy at a very, because it was a midday kick-off, like that's early. So the pub had been obviously chock-a-block with like Reds and fans and and the people who own the place are actually from Wales, so you can imagine there was some kind of grudge going on there. But anyway, we arrived there way after all that. But what tends to happen during the games, the local butty shop always brings in a big platter of butties, sandwiches for all the people who are in there, and it's all free of charge. So we walked in there, and there was, luckily enough, as will transpire, a little cardboard crate with 2 packs of butties still there. And I said to Sheila, "Oh, I'll have a pint of this 4.8 one, which name I've forgotten now." So that comes over. I said, "Oh, and of course, Milady will want some treats." And Sheila went, "I'm not being funny, but I'm terrified of reaching up there. It's too high for me, and I'm just terrified of that glass jar hitting me on the head." Now, I went, "Oh, don't worry about it, hon," because I'd spied these butties there. I thought, well, these are left over, so we'll have those, don't worry. Me and the dog will share these. She'll be happy enough with that, which the dog was. But Sheila's fears of this glass jar bouncing off her noggin are not unfounded, because another barmaid there, Lynn, who may watch this video, and Lynn, you know what happened. And Lynn's no taller, but she's got long arms. She's like an orangutan. She's got huge long arms, like with ginger hair draped all over them. Well, she did reach up one time, and I was on the other side of the bar, obviously, and the dog was up with her paws on the bar and her tongue across the beer mat, waiting. And Lynn reached up, and the jar toppled, and honest to God, folks, it come down. Bang! On their head. Oh, boosh! It's a big glass jar. You could hurl this jar off a cliff. It's not going to break. The glass is that thick, and it's that solid, and it's got one of those weird sort of tops of the lid where you can't really open it and operate it with one hand. And I usually, because what happens is some people go, "Oh, you sort it out," which in a way is a good thing, because then once you've got it open, you just keep on giving the dog little treats. Whereas they might go, "Oh, I'll just give her 3 or maybe 4 tops," and then they put it back. If you're in charge, well, you're in charge. End of. Happy dog. But it's got one of these sort of like these steel sort of rings on it, and you've got to try and flip it up, and it's got a catch on the inside. I'm probably not describing this too well. And then the lid pops up, and you reach in, and you just keep on going. But to do it with one hand is very, very difficult to do. But it's easier to unlock it and open it. Far easier to do that than to actually shut it and lock it again. But So it's the yin and yang of life, you know, yin and yang, Chinese New Year, you see? You know, it all feeds itself. So what happens is, you've opened it, try and close it. The dog's now eating and feasting, and then people are making a fuss of it, and I'm trying to shut this thing. And because they gave it to you, they're not going to take it back off you. Oh no, you complete the job. You started this, you finish it. And you're fumbling around, and the fucking jar's going all over the place, and other treats are spilling. Of course, the dog's then leaping around the bar trying to get all these treats which are spilling out of it. And then finally, no one ever helps you do it. But it's one of those little unwritten rules of, you know, the bar in the cask. If you've opened that jar, you fucking shut that jar. Don't ask for help. A real man can do it, even with one hand, and a rampaging husky tethered to the other arm. So yeah, you do all that. But I saw this bounce off Lynn's head. Oh my Christ. I saw, it was like a Tex Avery or Tom and Jerry cartoon. She went, and her neck just shrank in like that. Ugh. Her head was concertinaed. Her teeth seemed to fracture, and she almost spat them out. Just slight exaggeration there, but you could tell she was in real pain. And but it's one of those things, you know, clearly that hurt a lot. So you've got real physical pain and the emotional and psychological pain of having made a tit of yourself in public, which I thought, I'm afraid I can't defend you there, hon. That was funny. Do it again. Oh my God. And the dog's just like, just fucking feed me. I don't care if she's got like a brain tumour or whatever, like fractured skull. Just give me the damn treats. And but we always joke about that with Lynn now. Each time she reaches up, and she still does. Do you want to put your crash helmet on? You know, and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And we all have a bit of a laugh with that. But poor Sheila, well, it's never actually happened to her. And she just, no, I'm sure she's passed that jar down before without any issues. But this time she was like, no, I'm not doing it. No, I'm not being funny, but I'm terrified of going up that high. I can't reach. And if it falls and hits me on the head, that's it. It'll be the end of me. Go on, go on. Just give it one try. Nah. So it didn't happen. So we had the butties instead. So that was great. Drank me pint. We did all that. And then we left. And we went to the Telegraph. And the Telegraph is just round the corner again. Not as near. I mean, I could spit the Telegraph, but it'd be a hell of a spit. I'd have to be on the roof of Kilt-Man and really hope for a strong sort of tailwind, and it would carry it maybe. But went to the Telegraph. It's a Sunday afternoon. There's been matches, so it's busy. But the Telegraph does food, proper food. So you've got like roast dinners and families. Oh shit. And I've got a husky who's endlessly hungry. Oh my God, did I have to keep it on the lead? Oh Jesus. And anyway, so I get a pint, and I got a whiskey as well in there as it happens. So I'm making trying to sit by the bar. She's not. She's sprawled out all over the floor, right in the way of everyone. But that's what she's like. And I'm always, I'm sorry. I'm trying to drag her back, and she slides back across the tiled floor by the bar. I'm trying to bring her back in. But everyone just goes, oh no, don't worry about it. Oh, I'll step around it. Everyone seems to make, as much, give her the advantage. Don't worry, I'll dance around her, and they all give her loads of love and attention because she is enormously attractive animal, and she's so friendly and convivial, and such a wonderful little fairy, best friend to everybody. Anyway, so I'm there, and my good mate Degsy comes in. Now Degsy is from, I'm not sure, is he from Aberdeen? I'm sure he's from up Aberdeen sort of way, and he comes in with his dog. And his dog is a Hungarian Vizsla, I think they're called Holly, and she's great. And but she's dwarfed by my dog, of course. But my dog loves everyone, so the two have had a little sort of almost like a little kiss together. Hello, how are you? You all right? And then do you mind if I just shove my nose up your bum? Yeah. Oh yes. Oh, for breakfast? Really? How many coffees? Oh. Dogs. What a life being a dog. Just do all this. Anyway, and get away with it. And then he said to Holly, right, See, now this is something I'm coming to. Degsy Derek has got the thickest Scottish accent I've ever heard. And I do not understand, I'd say, a good 80% of what he says. Now, my good mate Tam from Edinburgh, Tam who I watched the match with, the Scotland beating England game last night. Now, Tam's from Edinburgh, and Tam's got quite a thick accent as well. And but when me, Tam, and Degsy get together, and Degsy goes, I always say to Tam, like, did you understand it? And he goes, I haven't got a fucking clue. Because the accent in Scotland does vary all over the place. Like, some are really thick, and it's lacquered on, like, with brogue and fucking, you know, Highland heather spitting out their teeth and all this kind of stuff. Like, and Degsy has that kind of accent. But he said to me, and he made this dog, well, I'll come on to the dog elements in a moment, but the first thing he said, like, so I've got to, and I'm going to slow this down and make it more clear for you. But you've got to remember that I didn't understand most of this, and I had to keep going, you what? What was that? Hey? What? Huh? What? He said to me, he said, oh, I've got a new fucking sport I'm fucking into. Oh, what's this then? And I know what he thought. The mobile phone comes out and there's a few little videos that are going to be of this thing. Degsy owns a pub called The Saddle, which is the other way. I can't spit to that. Not even with a really hurricane force tailwind, I can't spit to that. But it ain't that far away. And it's nice and cheap as well for your whiskies. And it's a great boozer as well. There's a lot for charity. The Wirral Copper Jar is run through there, and they do a hell of a lot of charity work, which I have done my bit for many times before and will do again. But Degsy has another job, and he owns the place, and his wife looks after it. And by the way, I've got their tartan. Their surname's Anderson, and I've got the Anderson tartan. You've seen it. I've worn it a lot on the channel, and I do wear it a lot. And anyway, so he owns this pub, but he works abroad a lot of the time. Most of the time, it seems. So when you see him for like a few weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. You see him sort of every day in the pubs and that, like, and then he's just gone for months on end. And he said, I've just been there, Detroit, where? Detroit. He's been to, and he showed me these videos, and this is my new sport now, axe throwing. Yes, axe throwing. And he shows me these 3 videos, which were all like, literally, he said, the whole fucking thing took about 2.5 fucking minutes. And I look at the first one. And he throws the axe, fucking bullseye. Brilliant. From about, I don't know, what is it? 20 feet, 25 feet, something like that. And they're hatchets, they're just hatchets. I've done axe throwing, I've done axe fighting. I did a lot of training with HEMA, you know, historical European martial arts. So I've used axes, swords, rapiers, bucklers, the little sort of shield that you wear on your wrist, which is only small, but it's way better than the cumbersome proper shield. And I've used, you know, broadswords, cutlasses, rapiers. I've done a lot of sword fight as well, and knife fight. I've done all that kind of stuff. So, and I've done axe throwing as well. So, and I thought, you've got some good form there. And they're just using hatchets, throwing hatchets, very light. I could have gone up there, fucking the weightage and all that, but this was like fucking easy for me. This one was easy for him, this particular axe. Boom, bullseye. The next one, boom, boom, bullseye. Third one, he goes, this was the fucking money one. This was like, everything was all based on this fucking one here. And he threw it, boom, hits dead centre, hits the bullseye, but the fucking axe breaks in half. Axe head hits in the centre, the shaft comes off, and then the axe head falls out, just literally just goes, and falls out at the centre of the bullseye. He said, I fucking lost. But he said, that's my first fucking attempt at it. So what I'm thinking of doing is, because he owns his pub, The Saddle. Oh, bear in mind, that was actually pretty good. That was a good performance, that. He said, they gave me like 5 minutes of fucking training beforehand. You know, I just showed me how to fucking throw it. And I just was a fucking natural. And he's really bigging himself up here. And, but rightly so, he did very well. But he's saying like, I'm thinking of fucking introducing this to the saddle. His pub, axe throwing in his pub. You'd be up for that, wouldn't you? I said, yeah. I said, where are you going to do it exactly? And they've got like a proper pub, and there's games room, there's a pool table. They've got this fantastic dance floor. Oh God, I've done videos on that dance floor, literally on that dance floor in the past, but they're way back. You'd have to go and troll back for all that kind of stuff. And it's a fantastic dance floor, which Tam, the other Scottish guy, Tam actually helped to construct and put the I was going to say pyrotechnics, put all the lighting, the lasers into it, and the timing for all the strobing effects, because the dance floor itself lights up and all that, like so it's great. But it's also a weird little backstreet boozer where you'd wonder who was going to come and use that dance floor. Obviously, when you've got people who book in, for like that, well, we're going to book it for that night. It's a hen do, it's a stag do, it's a wedding do, it's a do, it's a family occasion, whatever. Then that would come into play. But on a normal, like sort of Friday night, disco night, I don't think anyone's going to go in there really. Not for that sort of thing. Anyway, but it's there. So he does have these ambitious ideas. So now he wants to have axe throwing contests there. And I said, where are you going to do it? Because he's got there's a car park area, and there's a big outside, beer garden. There's no garden area. There's some astroturf and that, like, but it's loads of benches, and it is a lovely area, and it's a couple of tiers as well. So like, but at the back there, there's a fucking disused area. I'm gonna fucking use that. I've got access to that, so I'll be putting the fucking targets up there, and let's go in there and fucking hurl these fucking axes, and I'll have betting and all this. I said, do you not need a license for that? Like, maybe do you think perhaps, Degsy, you might need a license to be having people throwing axes with drunken abandon? And this is the thing. I can't tell you what his reply was because I don't understand it. He just went, I have fucking license. I fucking Right, okay, so you got that squared away. Brilliant. Fantastic. Well, count me in. If it ever actually happens, I'll be there like a shot. I've got axes here. I've got Frankish throwing axes which bounce and they still hit the target. I've done videos on them before as well, so all these things you can always check back on it. But so I'm up for that. But licenses again. What I was coming to really was, he's got this dog Holly, this Hungarian Vizsla, and I noticed that it wasn't on a lead. They only lived just down the road here. Again, you could spit to it. I definitely could spit to it. They're only literally about 4 or 5 doors away from the Kilt mansion itself. So, and I noticed the Holly wasn't on a lead. Of course, my dog's attached on the lead. I let my dog lead all the time, but in the cemetery, in the as you do, in the park, at the beach, and she can't walk for miles without encountering a main road or any kind of trouble like that. So that's okay. But to walk from ours to the Telegraph, you've got to go down streets, roads, cars, vehicles, stuff, real life, things moving at high speed. And it's helpful to keep your dog on the lead. He doesn't, and the dog just walks beside him, apparently. And he walked into the pub. Now in the Telegraph, you've actually got signs saying all dogs, it's a dog-friendly pub, but your dog must be kept on a lead. And I thought, hang on a minute, Degsy. And the manageress is right behind the bar. And I thought, obviously, because you trust that dog. That dog's fine, no worries, yeah. Oh, okay, all right. Well, that's fine. But there was a moment when I was told, can you just, Kilt-Man, can you bring Roxy further back in? She's kind of in the way. And that fucking thing. But then again, that fucking thing was sitting in a corner, minding its own fucking business, and was causing no issues with anybody at all. So I thought, okay. So me and Roxy walked the gauntlet of the big dining area where families and hundreds of people are having big roast dinners. See, this is where Roxy has to be on a lead, because she would leap from table to table Literally, her paws wouldn't touch the floor. She'd bounce from table to table, ricocheting through great big banquets and feasts and roast dinners, wolfing everything down, skittling, small children in high chairs and all that, like, who were being spoon-fed a bit of gravy and a bit of mashed potato. She'd have that straight before their mouth even reached the spoon. She'd have that spoon and all the food off it in a nanosecond. And the poor kid wouldn't be touched, but that's what Roxy's like. So I took her outside in the beer garden. There was no one there. The wind was fucking like a devilish whirlwind. So I let her off the lead, and I thought, I bet I get bollocks for letting her off the lead. I didn't, as it happened, but I thought, but the fucking dog is actually in the pub, not on the lead, and is getting away with it. So Roxy, you go and do your thing. She fucking starts ripping up the turf and all that, like having a shit in it. No, she didn't. She was actually really good, to be honest. Again, she just lay down and enjoyed this wind, this cold wind swirling around her, ruffling that fantastic, majestic, husky fur coat that she's got, which is huge and double layered with a waterproof layer underneath that as well. Oh, they're equipped. Man, they're equipped for any fucking environment, except deserts. Don't really work too well in deserts, I think I found. But I did think, there's some kind of double standards going on here. And I didn't quite work out, how have you trained that dog, man? How have you trained it to walk beside you on the street? Mine, she is always beside me. She does run off in areas where she knows all the perimeters and all the borders. She won't run out the gate. She won't do that. She has done that in the past. Kilt-Man, correct yourself. She has done it in the past, but when she was younger. She's an older dog now. Not even middle-aged as far as Husky's concerned, but she's a more mature animal, far more sensibilities and a far more social awareness. But on the street, road sense, bullshit. It ain't none whatsoever. This dog, because she's governed by her gut, and she's the greediest thing that the world has ever known. And everywhere she goes, this is a dog that can go out for a walk and have a banquet en route. She will have sausage dinners. She will have people will stop and give her treats. She'll have people's workies sitting there, having a bit of a break, and they've got their packed lunch. They'll give her half a pork pie or a butty or a sausage. Can she have that? Well, I'm like, you fucking try stopping her, So, so she has a ball of a life. She really has a wonderful time. So, but she will not in the cemetery or anywhere else, parks, mountains. She might run off hillsides and valleys. She might run off for a bit, but then she will stop a couple of 100 yards away and she'll, shit, where's my dad? And she'll be looking around for you because, well, basically, she loves me, but also I'm her meal ticket. Without me, she don't get fed. So, obviously, it's cupboard love, isn't it? But, so she won't run off too far, but because of this, led by her stomach, crossing the road, and there might be like a 6-month-old piece of chewing gum in the tarmac of the road. Well, that, even though it's completely prehistoric compared to any, as far as we're concerned, she'll stop and she'll try and prize it up. A fucking double-decker bus could be barreling towards us. I'm like, will you fucking move? Can you not see that? No. She doesn't compute that thing slamming into me is going to leave me flatter than this piece of chewing gum. Doesn't care. Cares not a jot about that. And you've literally got to drag it away. So, what I'm saying is, Degsy's control over this animal must be phenomenal. And I'm no expert on Hungarian Vizslas, but I don't know. And I've got no control over his fucking renegade accent either. I mean, he could have been telling me, oh, I've got £1 million here, I'm gonna fucking give it to you. Do you want it? Just say yes or no. And I'm just going like, just say yes or no. And I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. Oh, fuck you then. Because I've got no idea what 80% of what comes out of his mouth actually means. But I do love the guy. He is sensational. And I hope the axe throwing contests in the saddle the Saddle, is it Saddle Pub or Saddle Inn? I don't know, I just call it the Saddle. But I hope that actually happens. That could be great. I'm not sure how long it will last, to be honest. You know, when I bring the famous Frankish bouncing axes in, and they go fucking hailing off, and like they've gone through someone's windscreen, they've took out someone sunbathing in their back garden. Like, I don't know. It'd be a great opening day for that, but I don't think it'll go much beyond the opening day of the famous Saddle Pub axe throwing contest. Anyway, folks, I'm now gonna retire for this huge Kung Hei Fat Choi Chinese New Year banquet. So, but then I will return to open this. Now, what that is there is some more majestic movie artwork sent to me by our great channel subscriber and contributor Steve 007 Smith, who does this all the time. And I think he said this one's a little bonus one, and he gave a couple of clues. I might as well give you the clues now so that you can think in the meantime as to what this might be. I think I know what it is. And the clues we're back in horror territory. A lot of his recent stuff have not been horror movies. They've been action movies, thrillers, they've been, just all sorts of things, but not horror. And so this is classic horror. So classic horror, you're thinking about, okay, black and white, he's talking Dracula, he's talking Frankenstein. Well, he's covered Frankenstein, and my favourite classic monster is the Wolfman. Well, he's covered the Wolfman a lot. We've got 1, 2, 3. There's 3 Wolfman canvas artworks which he sent to me, which are glorious. You've seen them all. So I do not think that is the Wolfman, but I do think it's black and white. And he said as well, a lot of youngsters today don't even know this film exists. Okay, well, that's kind of like a given really for kids these days, with regards to classic sci-fi, horror, and just genre movies. But what was the clue? What was the clues that really gave it away? Oh yeah, he said it was. Although it's revered as a classic now, it was kind of a B movie back in its day. Well, that could cover a lot of films, because a lot of films back then were not, geared up to be like this is going to be a cult classic, remembered and revered forevermore. They weren't like that. Although Universal, a lot of their movies were high tentpole pictures, so your Dracula's, your Frankenstein movies, and all the offshoots of these were billed as big things. So I am thinking the era of the great B movie, which was the 50s. 50s sci-fi, atomic mutations, communist warnings disguised, but with monsters and aliens from outer space and all that kind of stuff. I think we're talking the 50s. I think we're talking black and white for definite. And I think we're talking a horror sci-fi crossover. And the other thing which really, really hit me with this, the clue that he gave, was that this is it was a great Halloween movie, but Halloween was in capitals. And I thought, well, I'm going to come on to that. I probably misquoted him, but Halloween plays a huge part in this. And I straight away thought, I think I've got this. I think I've got it. So I really want to try to rig something up to try and make this unveiling a bit more sort of exciting and a bit more egg on my face if I get it wrong, which I could do. I have got a few wrong of late, although I think I'm still 90%, something like that, correct. On the hundreds that he sent me, Jesus, and long may it continue. Steve, loving the canvases, mate. Loving it. It's fantastic. And don't worry, there's still acres of wall space. And the beauty is you can take these things off and put a new one on all the time. One tack. If it's portrait, one tack in the wall. If it's landscape, 2 tacks. That's it. And you just take them off, and move them around. So, and the new one comes in. You could put some into like some into like, I don't know, storage for a bit, and then after a few months bring them back out again. And it just keeps on giving. So I'm going to have this big feast, and then I'm going to come back, hopefully tonight. Although, if I'm like, my belly's out there and I've been supping whiskey to try and get all these noodles down, wash it all down with. Hopefully I'll get back and do this, but I do think I know what it is, but I could be wrong. So from those clues, folks, he says it regarded as a B movie. It's classic horror. Most kids today probably don't even know it exists, and it's a Halloween. I'm trying to think how he worded it now. It wasn't like a Halloween stalwart. See, I know if I say exactly what he wrote and what I think about this Halloween connection, you're all gonna get it straight away. Yeah, and you will. So I'm gonna sort of nudge myself away from that. But anyway, so folks, happy Chinese New Year. Don't eat dogs, whatever you do. And the Chinese, they gave us great food, yeah, some great movies, but they also gave us the Kung Flu, did they not? And I don't seem to recall them paying any sort of recompense for what they did, grinding the entire world to a halt for 2 years. What's been said about that? What's been done to them? Nothing. And now Russia and China, ooh, like that, and but I still love the food. Anyway, folks, there you go. That's for now. And I'm going to catch you all on the flip side of a big feast. So please, if you've got whiskey or whatever tipple, drink it, peruse those clues, and we'll reconvene in a wee bit. And if you've got any axes, start throwing them, because I think there's going to be a big championship. You better be there for day one, because I don't think there'll be a day two. I think the police will be there very, very swiftly. Anyway, folks, in the meantime, and this ever intoxicating in between time, please keep it Kiltic, keep it Celtic, and I am going to see you all later to open this and reveal the cold horror that might lurk within. Ta-da.